What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. That Geeky guy here, and today we'll be looking at a Viserai budget Blitz deck. So Viserai's cards can be a little bit expensive because Roon is such a popular class. So cards such as Moderate Tide and things like Revel in Rune Blood and even Swarming Gloomwheel. So these cards can cost about $10 to $15 per piece. But if you are serious about playing Viserai for skirmishes or things like that, do check out those cards because it's vastly different from how this deck is played. So this deck is aiming for a more aggro mid-range kind of play. So instead of the usual go for the bunch of rune chants and then Sonata, because Sonata is also a costly card. So we're gonna look at this deck here. I'm gonna go through the equipments, then we're gonna go through the cards to see how it interacts with each other. So the loadout is gonna be quite simple. It's quite straightforward with Rosetta Thorn, basically the best weapon for Runeblade currently. So you don't see Runeblade classes play any other because Rosetta is such a good weapon. With only for the cost of 1, you'll be attacking for 2 and also 2 arcane, which is insane. So provided you did play attack and non-attack, and then we have Iron Weave. So if you played a non-attack and attack action, you get to break this and then you get to go again, gaining 2 resources. So you want to play Crown against Kanos. You want to add in Ironhide Helm for other matchups. So you don't see Ironhide Helm because I actually forgot to put it here, but you can just simply add it up. It's quite simple. You still have about 4 slots to add in random equipments that you need, depending on your local skirmishes and also events. And then we are looking at now runes. So you want to put this against Kano, of course, and then Vexing Quailhand, just a quick generation of 2 Runechan tokens. Vexing Quailhand is quite cheap. I believe it costs around $1 to $2 currently. The non-foil version, cold foil, is of course going to be a bit more pricey than that. And then we have a Swordcliffe Suits Hide. So basically an attack reaction that allows your attack action card to have go again. So you're gonna see that most of the attack action for Viserai is being discounted by the number of rune chants. So the hides is gonna be coming in quite useful, allowing our attack actions to go again. So of course, if you are looking for a more competitive, these equipments are basically can be upgraded and then changed, provided you are willing to shell out a bit more cash, getting Skelala and then getting Arcanite Skullcap and also Spellbound Creeper. So these are some of the equipments, to name a few, that actually turns Viserai into a beast that we see in recent skirmishes. But as for the budget version, this will have to suffice. And then we're looking at 2 copies of the Amplify the Arknight. So a very efficient 346, and of course if you have any rune chant on board, this can be much cheaper to play. And then we have Arknight Ascendancy. So Arknight Ascendancy is quite cheap actually. It's about, I believe, $2 to $4 for each copy. Even with Arcane Rising being out of print, it's still easy to get, I believe. And then we have Consuming Volition, which is from Crucible of War. So if you have dealt any kind of arcane damage, Consuming is going to threaten a discard. So it's very useful if you have dealt some kind of arcane damage, which is going to be quite frequent with Viserai. And then we have Drawn to the Dark Dimension, 3 for 2, and you get to draw a card. So this goes really well with Mobrian Skies, which allows it to go again. And then we have Drowning Dire. So Drowning Dire, one of my friends actually plays this because he believes that the Dominate effect is very useful in finishing off your opponent. So as long as you have created an aura, so you can play Mobrian and then Drowning Dire, so you get to create 1 rune chance. It's basically coming for 5 Dominate, good for finishing off opponents, especially if they have expanded the armors. And then Read the Runes. So these are usually played on your first turn. So if you are going first play, Read the Runes, create 3 rune chant token, arsenal another card, and just keep going from there. Now you have 3 rune chants on board. Next turn, you can play Amplify the Arknight for free. Arknight Ascendancy is going to be cheaper. So those kinds of thing. And then we are looking at 6 copies of Mobrian Sky. So this is going to be your main staple in the deck. It's going to allow most of your attack action to actually have go again. We are playing some Rune Blade defense reaction here because if you are facing against Dorinthia warrior class, it's gonna be important to have all this defense reaction. And then next we have Reek of Corruption, basically serving the same purpose as Consuming, but this is much easier to pull off provided it costs 2. So the best way to play this is basically with Mauvrion and then Reek of Corruption, pitching a blue, so you have 1 floating and then you can come in with Rosetta. And then we are looking at Meet and Greet, Shrill of Skull Form, pretty spell for explanatory. Meet and Greet, if you have dealt any arcane, it gets go again. Shrill of Skull Form basically says that you have guaranteed any type of aura is going to become 7, very efficient. So similarly, Mauvrion Skies, Shrill of Skull Form, and then Rosetta, it's a total of 11 damage, which is nothing to scoff at. Become the Arknight is a super rare, which is from Arcane Rising, but it's still pretty cheap, about $2, I think. Max, I think $2 to $3 max, so you can get those. If you can grab those, it's gonna be great because it allows you to actually discard your non-attacks and then look for your attacks, or you can discard your attacks, basically a fetch card. And then we're looking at a Spellblade Assault. You're gonna play 2 blues and then 2 reds. If you can play this during your first turn, you get to create 2 Rune Chance token, which is already great. And alternative for this is Spellblade Strike. Similarly, we're playing 2 blues and 2 red for the same reason. And then next we are looking at Roon Flash. Basically has a natural go again, which is very useful. It costs less depending on number of rune chants that you control. And then we have Tome of the Arknight, of course. If usually you're gonna use this to pitch, but if you're feeling lucky, you might wanna go for it and just reveal an attack and non-attack, and then maybe that's also some of the way that you can actually depend on the RNG in order to finish off your opponent. And then we are looking at Oath of the Arknight, just because of the utility of +1. Also, you get to create a Rune Chant token, and it blocks for 3. So basically that's it, guys. I guess this deck is gonna cost below $30, I believe, even 20. Below $20, it's possible to build this deck. So let me know what you guys think. I wouldn't say that this deck will perform really bad, but it's really different from the competitive Viserai we're seeing because of the lack of Rebels and the lack of Sonatas, lack of Skeletor. So you're gonna go for a more mid-range kind of go again and then keep swinging your opponent, and then block some of the damage from your opponent, and then keep going in that direction. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm gonna leave the link for the deck list, of course, once I've added a Ironhide Helm here. And then once you guys have actually understand how Viserai works, you can actually start transitioning into buying the equipments and then changing the game plan. So that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, I'm gonna leave the link down in the description below. And thank you guys very much for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.